So in 2015, I ended up in Australia for the year. I had been doing sales for the last 5 years, and I go to Australia, and this is where I'm studying at Hillsong College at the time, and this is where I meet my wife. And she's from Sweden, where we live now with our 3 kids. And we came back to the States and we planted a church with a network of churches back home, the New Life Network, and people that I'm still partnered with and still great friends with today. And from that point, we planted this church, and the church started to grow, and I was able to do leadership development for the network of churches that they have, and we started a business doing business consulting, and we bought a house, we had our first baby, everything was just, felt like it was just working. Everything was going right. And then we felt like God was asking us to step out. We felt like we have a church that's growing. We have ministries that are serving homeless people. We have our brand new daughter. Why would we get up and leave this? But we both felt like it was clear, like it was time. We had to do something. And so we did. Other pastors were ready to be plugged into our position in the church. And so we did that. We sold our house. We sold most everything we owned. And then paid $28,000 for a used 40-foot fifth wheel. And then we were gonna drive across the country. But we really didn't know what we were doing. I made stuff up. We're gonna do this with the business, or we're gonna do this with church planting. But I didn't really know. We knew that God was asking us to do it. We didn't necessarily know what he was asking us to do at the time. But 3 months after we sold everything, I'm living in my pastor's basement apartment with my wife and my daughter, and my wife is now pregnant again at the time. And I'm renovating a fifth wheel. I'm trying to figure out what I just did with my life. And then I get a text message one morning that my brother was shot and killed. My brother was shot, his wife was shot, my 10-year-old nephew was shot 4 times. And it just it rocked my world. And I saw God come through in so many crazy ways in that season. And in that whole season, it did something in our marriage. It strengthened something in me. It strengthened something in my wife. It built something within us. And so after that whole season passed, we take this RV trip. And I had a friend that called me out in California, and he said, "Hey man, we're planting churches in jiu-jitsu gyms and coffee shops and on beaches, and we have a couple of coffee shops. Can you come out here and help us with some church planting and put some gatherings in these coffee shops?" And he didn't know this at the time, but I had been studying church history and working on a book with a friend, trying to figure out what church movements have looked like in the past, especially church movements. I had one foot in the business world, one foot in the church world. And so these two things are so separated, but it seems like throughout history, when you look at the Methodist movement, I was studying, trying to figure out how those things have worked together, because you can't really separate it, because the church is the people and people run businesses. And so if people are running businesses and people are the church, those things shouldn't necessarily be separated. So how can we get creative with starting churches and running successful businesses and creative businesses in order to see the Great Commission come to pass? And so when he called me, it was just perfect timing. And we had just finished the RV. We were living in it, but we hadn't hit the road yet. And so we went from Maryland all the way to California with my wife and 2 kids, a toddler and an infant. So if you ever get the chance to do that, don't. It was intense, but it was incredible. But once we got to California, it was like everything went wrong. We thought we had this plan. We thought we were gonna go there and plant churches in these coffee shops, and then maybe I was gonna write this book, and then I was gonna continue coaching and consulting with the business. I didn't know what it was gonna look like. But I had a mentor when I got out there. He said, "Curtis, you know why you came, but you don't know why you're here. You know why you took this trip, why you think you took this trip, but you don't know what God's doing. So just stop trying to figure it all out and just pay attention." And it kind of became clear toward the end of that trip that what we needed to do was as I started to see a gap. You have these business owners that have resources, and they have ingenuity, and they have skills, and they have abilities, and they have connections that these crazy, awesome, scrappy church planters did not have. These people planting churches and then giving all the money away and doing water projects and helping homeless people. And so I was kind of felt like I was standing in the gap a bit. And I was like, we can do something. And this was where the idea for Oasis Project was birthed. Like the original idea was, we have these business owners and we have these scrappy church planters, and if we bring them together, we will be able to create sustainable mission work, sustainable mission projects. And after that, I continued my research and we finished the book. We ended up moving to Texas for the year while I was waiting for my residence permit in Sweden. When me and my wife first got married, we decided we were gonna move to Sweden eventually, but when the time was right, when we knew God was calling us there. And so we felt like the time was right. And so then, right before we're about to leave, we're having our third baby. I am now beginning what is now the Oasis Project. We're setting up the website. I remember sitting at the foot of my wife's bed in the hospital, like typing up the copy for our initial website. It was an intense season. And this was 3 months before we were to move to Sweden. And we wanted to be able to see church planting in Sweden. We wanted to be able to see God do something incredible with these business owners and with creative church planting. We wanted to see it happen in Sweden. We wanted to see it happen in the States. The reason we were so passionate about it, and we are so passionate about it, is because it's going to reach the people that don't go to church. It's going to reach the people that aren't just walking into the church, but they'll walk into that jiu-jitsu gym, or they'll walk into that coffee shop, or they'll go into whatever that business is, fill in the blank. And so we get to Sweden, Oasis Project launches, and we're coaching business owners, and we're coaching church planters, and I'm still writing, and we're producing some content. And then all the time I'm praying and asking God, okay, what are the projects we're gonna invest in? What are the projects that are sustainable? What are the things that can actually remain? Like, is my theory correct? What am I missing? Where can we invest our time, energy, and money into these projects? And so I was asking kind of at this point for the specifics. What is this ministry gonna look like? And at that time, I had a friend who had dug a well in Kenya. They have 2 coffee shops in Texas. I was going to their church, like they have a coffee shop church. When I lived there in Mansfield, Flying Squirrel Coffee, and they had dug a well in Kenya. And so I called her and I said, hey, tell me about that well. And she told me, and she said, well, we've been working with these people, Nourishing the Nations, these business guys from Texas, and they've been there for 12 years, and they have a feeding program doing like 30,000 meals a month. They have a business development program. They have all their work is being done through pastors on the ground in Kenya. And I was like, I need to meet these people. And so she connected me. I sent them the money. We dug a well, and then that is what birthed the Oasis Project. We found a gap there. We found a gap with one of our church planter friends in India they planted 100 churches within a year and a half, 106 churches within a year and a half. We saw God just kind of opening the door for work inside of water. And in India, they're using the wells to plant churches. And in Kenya, they're digging wells. The last well we dug was on a church property. And so people come and they get living water and they get clean water. And it's like, this is where we're gonna focus. And it just made sense because it's Oasis Project. So why not? And this is a month before we left for Kenya. I get a call from the church we're sitting in now, from a friend here, a pastor here. And he said, we have 150 of these water filters and we don't have anywhere to put them right now. And I was like, well, I'm leaving for Kenya in a month and I know that they can use these filters. I know it'll be a huge blessing, but I doubt we're gonna be able to get them there in a month. Like all the logistics, like there's too many hurdles to jump through to try to get them there. And he said, well, let me connect you with our partners here, Water Matters. And I get on the phone with Water Matters, they come up, we have a meeting. He's like, we've been doing work in Kenya for like a decade. And he said, we already have all the logistics figured out. We'll have the filters there within a couple of weeks. And so this is kind of what birthed all this, is we started digging wells. We had access to these filters that are giving people clean water for 10 years, and then we had the other components of the business development and the education and the food and the housing with House for a Home. And we just knew, like, this is the spot we're gonna focus on. These are the doors that God's opening. And so that became our focus, and now this is the Oasis project. So for me, the hope in all this, and the thing that gets me so passionate and excited about it, is, like, you see, I can't go into a place and just try to fix all the problems. A government even trying to do some work doesn't fix all the problems, because a government doesn't feed people's soul and grow them spiritually. Just an individual coming in and trying to fix the problems isn't a long-term solution, because within the next generation, the houses that are built are gone, or the water projects, the filters aren't working anymore, or the well is dried up. So it's not just about water, and it's not just about trying to solve these problems for right now. It's about what we say is solving water for good. And what we mean by that is when you have the right people involved, where people are being grown spiritually, where their needs are being met, where there's generational impact, when you have these different components, not just the components, but the people in these different areas, like experts in their area of focus. When you bring in the experts in these areas and they get to work together and run within their lanes, you really start to see progress within the community. And so for me, it's like, that's what I want to see. That's what we want to see at Oasis. It's can we solve water for good? Can we go into these communities with the right partners, with the right people, with discipleship involved? And then can you get what's been happening in that community for generation after generation after generation, that cycle, can it be broken? That's what we believe we can see. That's what we want to be a part of. That's why we do the work that we're doing. That's what it means to solve water for good.